Okay, good afternoon. This is Moshe Landman with Maryland Metal, welcoming you to another video on real money. MarylandMetal.us is our company, Precious Metals. Now, today we want to talk about money. What is it? What is the definition of money? And what's going on in the world in terms of this paper that we have here. So today, let's start with money. If you look up, the first real definition was by Aristotle in Greece. And he said that money has to meet these criteria. Number one, it must be durable, must stand the test of time and the elements. It must not fade, corrode, or change throughout time. Obviously, this doesn't pass that test. This piece of paper, it's a nice piece of paper. It was minted with certain, fancy colors and names and things, but it's just a piece of paper in green. And its melt value is about less than a penny. But yet, for some reason, people will give you all sorts of things for this piece of paper. Now, portable money must be able to hold a high amount of worth relative to its weight and size. I don't know. Divisible money should be relatively easy to separate and recombine without affecting its fundamental characteristics. An extension of this idea is it must be fungible, defined as being freely exchangeable or replaceable in whole or part. And finally, it must be intrinsically valuable. Its value should be independent of any other object and contained in the money itself, starting with rarity. So right away, we'll note that paper monies and currencies, including digital currencies, fail many of these tests. And the problem is that once we went off the gold standard in 1933, and really completely on the world stage in 1971, we've had these free-floating currencies backed by nothing. And obviously, once the world recognized that, the central banks, in order to appease the government officials' spending, just started to spend. As you can see here, the United States chart goes up from a money supply of in the billions to now we're nearing $20 trillion of broad money. That's including all the money out there in accounts and deposits and cash. And for example, in China, it's the same story. And really, Israel, here's another example. Everybody's essentially just printing the money off the paper as fast as they can. They create IOUs that they owe themselves. It's really a game that nobody's paying it back. They're just printing it and they give it to the banks who are allowed to lend what's called fractional reserve banking, 10 times the amount that they're given. And then those are lent out and multiple times until you have a ton of obligations out there and backed by very little. So again, at this point, we did have a real source of money before this whole game went wild, and that was precious metals, gold, silver, and now platinum, palladium as well. And there's a finite supply of those. We know there's 190,000 tons of gold, for instance, out there. There's a limited supply of silver, platinum, palladium. All the gold at its current value of about $18.50 per ounce would be around, we say here in this nice website, but I've heard of $9.5 trillion. Now, obviously, that's a lot less than the money supply in the United States, in the world. And so there's a mismatch here. We've got a rampant inflation, printing of money, and it's going to continue until the system collapses. It's going to keep losing value extensively. Now, again, let's talk about fungibility. Now, originally gold was not really fungible because they hadn't minted it. But as soon as they started minting into coins that were the same, we can trust that they were the same, that's when we had that ability to exchange it. And today we have cryptocurrencies. But even Bitcoin at $30,000 plus is kind of confusing to many people with a market cap of over $700 billion. It has no intrinsic value. It's a code. And the question is, what if someone breaks it? Can we, maybe the government won't use it. So it can be manipulated. It really can. It is a code. It is just a code and with no intrinsic value. So we warn people about cryptocurrencies. And when you look at all of them, now maybe we'll have a cryptocurrency based on gold. If the gold is really there, like the Perth Mint does and others, that you can actually buy that. So again, It's great that we have these $100 bills and they have value today, but we think they're going to continue to inflate, and eventually we're going to go back to the gold standard, and that might mean $10,000 or even $30,000 gold price. Silver could go to 200. Well, let's talk about some real money here. We have today some coins. An 1893 $10 Liberty. It's a beautiful coin. Now, this is in a mint state 62. That's a very high out of 70 mint state. It is graded with the CAC, that green label. That means inside the mint state, it was sent to another agency. So it was sent to their two main grading agency, PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service in Los Angeles, and then NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation of around the Tampa area, Sarasota. This one's PCGS and graded MS62. Then it was sent to CAC, which is another agency, and they say that it's one of the top percentage-wise of this MS62. So it's almost MS63. The rear has, of course, the Liberty Eagle. It says it was $10. This was $10 then. The melt value alone is now nearing over $900. We have it listed on our website for $1,380 because of the rarity and the gold value continuing to rise. You can make an offer, and again, it's 0.9 fine, actual gold rate 0.837. The designer is Christian Gobrecht, 1.8 million. This is from Philadelphia. This is a great way to hold gold, and we believe it will continue to rise. Let's say gold goes to 5,000. This thing could be worth 3,000 or more. Next, we're going to talk about a half eagle. So that was the eagle, which is $10. The half eagle is $5. This is a 1912, and it is the Indian head. Now, this is one of the nicest coins because it was minted inclusive. Instead of coming above the coin, it's minted inside the coin. I don't know if you can see it with the head of the Indian chief. And that is in mint state 61, very high from 0 to 70. So very few flaws, may have just kept in a drawer somewhere. And the rear shows it's guaranteed by Numismatic Guarantee Corporation of near Tampa, Florida. And it has another eagle, but it's inclusive. And again, this is a wonderful coin. In fact, we have it listed here for $825, and you can make an offer. Just the melt value alone at 0.242, you can imagine, nearly a quarter of an ounce. 8.36 grams. Only 790,000 were minted that year. Designed by Bella Pratt, and it is just a wonderful coin. So a great way to hold gold with some numismatic value, less than 100%, so not that rare, but pretty rare. And it's just going to become harder and harder to have. Okay, so let's move on to the 1896, the Morgan. We've talked about Morgan silver dollars before. A great way to hold silver, about 77% of an ounce, with the beautiful Liberty head. Designed by Morgan. It's an MS63 from 1896. And even though it looks crummy with the dark, a lot of people, actually, the graders are looking more at the condition of the coin, not so much this sort of darkened dirt on it, which can be cleaned, but they don't like you to clean it because that takes away from the value, and cleaning can cause abrasions and surface damage. Mint state 63 out of 70 is very high. And again, the back looks good with the eagle. NGC, and we have it listed for 75, which is the NGC guide's value right now. These are great ways to hold silver, and some rare coin value, almost more than significant. The silver itself is only worth $20 or something like that. So that's a great way to hold silver. Now let's move on to 1942. This is when the U.S. actually had real coins made of silver. This is a quarter. With 90% silver, and it looks like a quarter of today, but it has a softer finish because it's actual real. This is when we had real money. We stopped doing that in 1965, and then we went to 40% half dollars, but everything else was just nearly worthless nickel and copper. Now this coin itself, let's see here, is 0.1808 ounces of silver with a melt value about $4.61. And today it's going to sell for more than that because it's a little bit of rare in 1942. So nice way to hold silver. And you can buy bags of these. It's called junk silver. You can buy bags of $100 face value, which would have 400 of these. You can have $1,000 face value. You can do it in rolls of 100. If you're interested, we can get you a great way to hold silver. They've been all taken out of the banks already. All right, let's move on to the new age here. 2018. I'm going to hold on moments. I'm going to put on my crusty glove because we're dealing with a coin that's out of the case. And we have here a 2018 Block Island, the ATB series. That's the America the Beautiful, 5 ounces of pure silver. And on the rear, it has the Block Island with a beautiful bird on there. That's from Rhode Island. And they've made these over the last few years, a few different per year. It's a really great way to hold silver. We're going to have to get a new case because I think the top broke. But we'll make sure that this is in mint state. We have it listed for $200. We actually have 2 of them. And this one you can make an offer, but they continue to go around. The longer you wait with these ATB, America the Beautiful, the higher the value goes up. And so you really don't want to wait on those. I would try to collect as many as possible. We have here, this is a 1 ounce silver from Tokelau, some sort of island in the near Australia, off the coast of Australia. And it's got a shark on the back. They make some interesting coins out down there. Probably a beautiful place to visit. With the Queen, and it says $5, but it's worth a lot more. 2018. We're going to put it on our site. I have to see what the value is. Clearly, it's a lot more than $25, which is the melt value of silver. Great way to hold silver. Finally, we're going to do some small gold. A lot of people can't afford these big golds, so what can they do? Here is a 1/2 gram of gold in 14 carats, so it's only 585 pure. It's about, melt value may be $20, 17 to $20, but people are going to pay a lot more. This is minted by the American Mint. Now, I don't think you can see it, but it actually commemorates. We'll see here. Let's do a close-up. The 9/11. So it's a very powerful. Image of the Twin Towers. Let's see if we can see that there. Twin Towers are there, and it's got the Statue of Liberty, and obviously we're commemorating the fall, what happened in 9/11. But we sell them for somewhere over $50, and we've got lots of these. So again, you really have to consider the fact that money, paper money, is just a piece of paper. It's an IOU backed by nothing at this point. And this is happening around the world in every currency around the world. So, this has been the rate of inflation, if you look at our website, under the Knowledge Center, is so vast that over the last 100 years, this piece of paper, these dollars have lost over 99% of their value. Just look at that chart. That's the value of what it was. Remember, you could have bought this coin in the early 1900s for $10 US. And today you need to spend almost $1,300. So that's a situation that will continue until we revalue gold to the dollar, which would probably mean a $30,000 gold price, but don't quote me on that. It could take years, 20 years before we get there. It could happen slowly, but it's a great way to hold real value. My number, 301-284-0531, and we will continue the series. I look forward to helping you preserve your money through real wealth. We do have all the products available from wholesale or here directly. All the bullion, bars, coins, as well as rare coins. We have a rare coin program. We'll customize a portfolio for you and store it for you. You can keep it at home, enjoy it, look at it, and then we can resell it for you a little later at a profit for a low commission. Thank you and have a good day.